Brother Naquam, watching for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahuwah, by Shema Mashiach Kwamalak Yabushai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David, that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach Kwamalak Yabushai, laboring fervently in the gospel. Shalom to those men. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Last but not least, shalom to the Akwath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, married and unmarried, keeping the law, statutes, and the commandments, moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to those men, or Salaki those sisters, and the rest of our people scattered abroad, the elect of our people scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom, HBK Ent, Salome Williams, Love Pius. We got Next Israel, and Smile, Calibway T, Solomon McFadden, right, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in. This would be a quick cold cut, Lord willing. The topic of this cold cut is vision, vision, vision. Right? Vision, vision, vision. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 18. Right? Vision, vision, vision. This is Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18. It reads, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he." So the Most High said, when there's no vision, the people perish. In the ancient world, you have prophets like Samuel, you have prophets like Jeremiah, prophets like Ezekiel, prophets like Daniel, and the men, the kings, the princes, the elders, the average Israelite, they relied on these men to give them visions to be able to direct them in the path that they should go. So when there's no vision, the people perish, meaning there's no guidance, right? There's no direction. There is no sense of instruction on how to move the people in the right path. So we as a people, we have to have vision, right? Essentially, this is something I was meditating on. Brothers or sisters, you have to have, when you think about the kingdom, when you think about eternal life, when you think about having servants and handmaids and dominion and rulership, you have to keep that on your forefront. You have to have vision. Right? You have to have hope. You have to have an expectation. You have to look at the things that the average person isn't looking at. Right? And that should be your driving force for you to inherit everlasting life, or one of your driving forces for you to inherit the kingdom. Right? You have to literally expect what Yahuwah Bashim Yahushua has promised you. And you have to look forward to these things. You have to meditate on these things. Right? You have to dwell on these things. All right, and these things that you meditate on, you dwell on, is going to keep you rooted and grounded in the truth. When you don't have vision, when you don't have that type of, it's like someone starting a business, right? You have to have some type of plan or vision on what you see, all right, on what you expect, and then you implement that plan, right? And then you live that plan. So you have to have that type of mentality with the kingdom. You have to meditate on the kingdom. You have to meditate on everlasting life. You have to meditate on having rulership. You have to keep these things in your mind, because the world is going to keep worldly thoughts in your flesh. And you have to kick those worldly thoughts out, or find that balance on how to focus on the things that Yahuwah Bashim Yahushua has in store for us. Right? Let's go to the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and 1. All right, this Colossians chapter 3 and 1. "If ye then be risen with the Mashiach, seek," right, "those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of the Most High." So when you seek something out, you have to have vision. You have to have a clear line of sight, and there can't be any spots or blemishes on what you desire to see. So when you're seeking the things that are above, it doesn't mean you're physically looking up in the sky. That scripture is not saying walk outside, or it's a cloudy day, okay, so I can't live out that scripture. Or it's an overcast, so I can't seek the things that are above. Or I need to it's not talking about you need a telescope or you have to physically see. This is a mental seek, right? A mental vision, a spiritual sight, and having a mind of an expectation, That's what it means. Seek those things which are above, right? What are the things that are above? Heavenly things, law, righteousness, order, truth, right? You can either seek the things that are below, which are of this world, or you can seek the things that are above. And what are the things that are below? The flesh. It tells you in 1 John chapter 2 and 15, what's in the world. Right, let's get that real quick. Either you're seeking the things that are above, or you're seeking the things that are below. All right, this 1 John chapter 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the world. It's not of the Father, but is of the world. So you have men that all they do is seek the lust of the flesh, right? What is the lust of the flesh? Anything that's sensual and makes you feel good, right? That's it. Sex, alcohol, weed, drinking, pleasure, right? Hedonism. That's the technical term for a society predicated on the lust of the flesh and self-seeking pleasure and gratification. It's called hedonism. That's what's being done in Babylon the Great. And this world teaches you to seek out your pleasures, to do what makes you feel good, to do what makes you feel right. All right? And what satisfies you instead of satisfying Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua. But a man with vision and a man who applies vision, he's seeking the things that are above, he's focused on the spiritual things. He's focused on the promises. He's focused on that second wilderness coming. He's thinking about getting beamed up in a chariot. He's meditating on how the nations are going to be in order, right? He's meditating on secrets and parables, right? So you have to train your mind to focus on the things that are coming, not the things that are, all right? You have to focus and have vision on the things that are coming. Because if you're focusing and set your goals on the things that are coming, you're going to live your life according to what's coming, not according to what is. All right. So in 1 John chapter 2 and 16 and 2 and 17, it reads, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. So that's plain. So if you're focusing on this world is going to pass away, man. All this money that people are chasing, this stuff is about to become obsolete. Rather it's physical or digital. It's all going to be obsolete when the Lord returns. You think Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua is going to have digital currency in the kingdom of heaven? Cryptocurrency? Artificial intelligence? No, this stuff is passing away. Right? You got these men chasing these top-end jobs and trying to, rack up thousands and millions of dollars. You think the Most High is going to have a Forbes 500 company list in the kingdom? You think Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua is looking for a capitalist society? The things that you're focusing on, yeah, you got to maintain a balance, but you got to look at the things that the Lord is going to put in this place, man. And you're going to have men to run this stuff. You could be one of those men set up to run these many offices that are going to be in the kingdom. This is what you should be focusing on. How to get yourself salvation through the grace of Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua, man. All right. It says, for all that is in the world, it's like in verse 17, and the world passeth away. So if you're not thinking about anything but the world, your mind not right. You need to examine yourself, because the Lord said this stuff about to pass away. Everything you see around you is going to be gone soon. In the blink of an eye. At the last trump. This stuff is over with, man. Your car, your house, what's in your bank account, your 401k, your pension plan, your garage, your car, if I didn't say that already, the worldly people that are not of the Lord, all that's going to be gone. The Lord said he's taking one of a city. Right, let me get that in Jeremiah 3. And two of a family, and bring them to Zion. Right, let's get that. This is the book of Jeremiah. So the Lord ain't taking everybody. Right, Jeremiah 3 and 14. Turn, O backsliding children, said the Lord, for I am married unto you, And I will take you one of a city and two of a family and will bring you to Zion. So everybody's not going to make it. One of a city, right? That means the Lord is saving a small remnant. And those remnants, or that remnant rather, are the ones that are solely focused on Yahuwah Ba'ashem Yahushua, who have a mind and a vision for the kingdom. Right? Let's go to 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. Right? And sometimes this world will try to drag you in, man. Have you stressed about worldly things? And Esau does that on purpose, man. He wants you to focus and stress and be anxious about the things of the world. And you slowly lose focus of what's the true picture of eternal life. Remember, his job is to block you from the tree of life. When the Lord set up the cherubs and the flaming sword in the book of Genesis, that's really manifested in the flesh by the works of the so-called white man. Wherever you go, you're being blocked from the tree of life. Right? And that's something that you got to keep in your mind, keep in your forefront. They're blocking you from the tree of life. And wherever you go, there's nothing but deception and lies. And sometimes you need that reality check. We all need that, man. Hold on, this ain't it, man. I'm giving too much time into the world. Too much time into my job. Too much time into hobbies and pastimes. Right? Too much thoughts and too much focus into the things that are going to be destroyed. And I'm not giving that as much thought and much care into the things that are to come and things that are going to keep us or allow me to get to the kingdom. All right? This 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse, this is a beautiful chapter. One of my favorite chapters in the New Testament. Right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse 16. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. So the outward man perishes. The outward man is the flesh, right? Meaning what? You age, your body breaks down. Sometimes you forget things when you get older. You lose your sense of hearing. You lose your sense of smell. Some people, they get osteoporosis. They get arthritis. Your back begins to hurt. You're not as quick as you used to be. You're not as mobile or flexible. You can't stand on your feet as long. And your outward man perishes, man. Your body will break down. The Lord has designed this body, this flesh, to deteriorate in the process of time, being that you have a mortal body. So that's something that you can't stop. You could work out, eat healthy, etc. But this body is going to meet the grave, until we get our immortal bodies. So the outward man perishes, but it says what? Yet the inward man is renewed day by day. What's the inward man? Right? Well, the inward man is your inner spirit. That's the inward man. The inward man should be born again every day, renewed, restarted, refreshed, getting closer to Yahuwah Ba'ashem Yahushua. So every day you should be renewed. You shouldn't be the same person you were yesterday. Every day you should be inching closer to Yahushua, being made in the likeness, or the glory rather, of Yahushua, man. Every day. No question. Right? And you have to ask yourself, are you the same person you were yesterday? Right? In word and deed, are your thoughts the same? Are you now, are still thinking about the things of the world, man? Right? And in this world, you have to somewhat think of the things of the world because you live in the world. You got to go to work. You got to pay bills. We get it. But if your mind is wholly set on that, today, tomorrow, you can't be like that. All right? Tomorrow, you can't be like that, man. The Lord said the inward man is renewed day by day. Every day, you should be you should be a better you. Right? And be closer in the steps of Yahushua. So you have to examine your spirit. You should have some type of vision and say, well, look, and tomorrow I want to conduct my speech in this fashion. I don't want to speak in folly and vanity. And maybe you're the type of person that joke around too much, man. Maybe you're the type of person that's not kind, or you're rude. Hey, maybe you're the type of person who can't, just seem to be quiet. Right? You have to have some type of vision on what you want to be. And it should be plainly set, which is Yahushua. I want my speech to be like my forefathers. I want to think like Nehemiah. Nehemiah had a vision. Nehemiah had a plan. He rode through Jerusalem by night. He kind of looked at things and said, I want this to look like this. I'm going to build this up. I'm going to do this. And he implemented a plan. That's what it means. Vision, vision, vision. Looking at the estate that you're in now, seeing where you want to be, and doing what it takes to actually get there. Right? Let's get that in Nehemiah. I'm going to go back to 2 Corinthians because it's definitely more I want to get on that. Right? Through the spirit and power of Yahuwah Bashem Yahushai. Right? But let's go to Nehemiah. Right? So like I want to get Nehemiah. I believe I want the 2nd chapter. All right. Nehemiah is a beautiful book about vision. Right? Actually, yeah, Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 11. So when you read the account, Nehemiah was sent back to actually build up the walls of Jerusalem. The first Exodus, for lack of better terms, was in around 539 BC. Remember, Zerubbabel and Joshua, Zerubbabel being a governor, Joshua being a high priest, they actually went first back to Jerusalem to build the temple up, right? And then you had years later, Ezra went down with men around 457 BC. And then around 444 BC, Nehemiah went down with men. All right. So this is Nehemiah chapter 2 and 11. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me. Neither told I any man what the Most High had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. So the Most High put thoughts in Nehemiah's mind on what to do with the city. We're going to build this gate over here. We're going to use these men to build this wall right here. I'm going to take these men, I'm going to make them over the treasury. These guys right here, I'm going to put them in this area. And this was all in his mind. This was all in his mind. It was not done yet. It got done, but it started right here. Nehemiah had vision. He had hope on what he wanted his city to be like. He didn't want it to be in the same estate of being burnt. When you read this account, the whole city was burnt down by the Babylonians, man. And you had some men that didn't even want to go back and build the city. Some men stayed up in Susa, Babylon, Persepolis, and said, I don't want to go back. Nehemiah said, I can't. Nehemiah was upset, man. You know? And the king said, why is your countenance sad? And Nehemiah told him, he said, hey, look, man, straight up and down, my city is destroyed. So that was on Nehemiah's mind, how to build up his city, how to build up the city of the Lord, the city of Yahuwah Bashem Yahushai. Certain men have vision. They have plans. They have ideas on where they want their people to be, on where they want to be, where they see themselves. And they not only have thoughts and ideas, they live that thing out, man. They implement it. And it's successful. They have great success. And this applies to every one of us. We have to learn from men like David, who had vision and a heart to build up the temple and came up with a whole blueprint. He was inspired by Yahuwah Bashem Yahushai to create a blueprint to build up the temple. He said, this is what I want to do. Drew it out, gave it to Solomon. Solomon got it done. You have to write this out. This is where I want to be. I see myself, studying, 5 times a week. I want to be at a level where I'm able to know where all of the books of the Bible are. I'm just giving different examples, right? And you know where you need to be. You know where you're at now, and you should have some idea on where you want to be. You don't want to be the same person you was today. God forbid. I don't want to be the same person I am today. I want to be better tomorrow. Because the Lord said the inward man is renewed day by day, right? Not every month. It said daily. All right? And Slim D put a good word in there. He said plan. Right? Plan, pray, fast, work, repeat. Right? So you got to have a vision. You got to have some type of, plan, like the brother said. So I'm going to read this again. This Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 12. Let me read that again. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me. Neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. So he said he didn't tell everybody. You don't have to tell everybody your plans and goals. You know, some people, Satan hop on them and try to get you to not believe that you could do it. You'll never be able to do that. You want to fast twice a week? Come on, let's be real. Be real with yourself. And that's Satan hopping on them to try to deter you from being more righteous than what you were. Right? You got spirits, you got Debbie Downers. You got people that don't want to see you succeed. You got a Satan that can hop on people, like the brother said, just try to bring you down. You know? So Nehemiah didn't tell anybody. Right? It's not that Nehemiah didn't, trust his fellow. We don't know. But guess what? Hey, look, he kept that in his mind. And sometimes you got to be like that. You don't spill your whole heart to everybody, man. It's between you and Yahuwah Ba'ashem Yahushua at the end of the day. And the Lord said in Philippians, you got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right, let's get that in Philippians chapter 2 and 12. And I'm going to go back to that. All right. This is Philippians, right? Chapter 2. Salakia. Got these pages stuck together. All right. This Philippians chapter 2. Boy, oh boy. In verse 12, it reads, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So you got to work out your own salvation, man. You got to do this for you. Of course, everything for Yahuwah Ba'ashem Yahushua, but if you in this thing because somebody told you about the Israelites and you just, it sounded cool, it sounded fun, it sounded like a club, or, maybe something to try out, or, you heard that the lamb was good, or you wanted to try the lamb out, then this isn't for you. If you kind of heard that they kind of get together and the Hebrew Israelites go camping in the fall time and they put a tent out and they go camping, then your mind not right. Right? You're not in this thing for the right reason. Right? Have you heard that there's a set time? It's kind of like Christmas, but it's not. They give gifts to one another. And, if you're thinking about stuff in that mind, then you got to re-examine your spirit. I heard they get 1 day off, so I could finally take off. I heard the Israelites get 1 day off. Let me try that thing out. Let me tell my boss. Right? That's not what your mind should be at. You got to have this vision and stuff for yourself, man. You got to know why you're in this thing. Right? Let's go back to Nehemiah. Right? This has to be important to you. Right? And you have to ask, well, why am I in this truth? Where do I want to be? Where do I want to see my people? Where do I want to see my family? Right? Let's go back to Nehemiah. Nehemiah, the 2nd chapter. Like I said, Nehemiah is a beautiful account of a man having vision. All right? Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 13. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. And you have to see what's broken down in you, man. You have to take it by night, right? You have to take that trip spiritually in your city, which is you, and see what's broken down, man. Because the Lord said, he that hath no rule over his spirit is like a city without walls. So are your walls broken down? Do you have rule over your spirit? Right? Are you submissive to the Lord? Are you keeping the commandments? Are you reading? Are you studying? Are you fasting? Are you praying? Are you meditating in righteousness? Do you have vision? Or are you just kind of in this thing, taking it day by day and just going through the motions? Are you just going through the motions? Right? Are you just here, just watching videos all day? Yeah, certain Israelites, all they do is just watch the videos. You got to be in this thing, man. You got to see where the walls are broken down. And Nehemiah didn't just focus on one part of the city. Let me read that again. And I went out by night, by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port. Right? You may say the dung port is not as important. Right? The dung port, it's not as important as the temple. Right? But the dung port was still examined. The smallest, the least things were still examined by Nehemiah. Everything was examined. He put it all on the table. The dung port, the city walls, everything was examined by Nehemiah by night. He had a vision in the mind and he went to examine and see where he lied. And that's what you have to do. You have to have a vision and a hope on where you see yourself in this truth. Right? And how you can be closer to Yahuwah. Then you examine yourself and see the different parts of you that are lacking. All right, let's read on. And viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. And I'm led to believe he kind of stared at it for a while and kind of said, well, this is what we can do. Here's what I want to do here. All right, verse 14. Then I went on to the gate of the fountain and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. Then went I up in the night by the brook and viewed the wall and turned back and entered by the gate of the valley and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. That's self-examination. That's him examining the city, stone by stone, the gate, the king's pool. Right? He focused on everything and had vision, and he saw where his city was, and then he provided and did the work. That links directly up with Proverbs. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24 and 27. This is the mentality that we have to have. We have to live these scriptures out. All right? We have to live this thing, man. Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 27. It reads, prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. So you can't just build yourself up without a plan. Nobody just builds you don't drive down the street or down the highway, and when you see these cranes and you see these construction vehicles out there and guys out there working, and you see porta potties and big hills, and when you see that stuff didn't just manifest itself by thought. And there's a foreman, an architect, a company, they have a plan. Right? It says prepare thy work without. So they need to determine, first of all, what they're going to do. They determine how many people, how many man hours do we need, right? They calculate man hours, right? Down to the T. They say, look, it should take us 300 or 100 hours to perform this task. And they hire the amount of workers and say, these guys are going to work these hours. Then they determine the material that they need. Hey, look, if these guys are going to work, what tools do they need to be successful? What type of training and coaching and cross-training can we do? Or are we going to hire guys that are already qualified and skilled? Right? The brother said a budget. They analyze a budget. Hey, look, it's going to cost us, $10 million to complete this project. The brother's making good points to get the blueprints together. The architect, I need you to design this. They pick the location. There's a lot that goes into this thing. Right? They need a place. They got to do a payroll. Right? So they got to hire these guys. They got to say, well, look, how much are we going to pay these guys, man? They do a compensation review, benchmarking, and they got to sit there and really say, hey, look, we're going to get that in Luke 14. Are we able to do this? But they prepare They sit down at a round table, and you have top level guys, man. And even your top level owner of the company or the CEO, you best believe this guy got advisors. That he sits at a round table. He don't make this decision by himself. He don't think in a vacuum. He think downstream, upstream. And he's sitting around a table with counselors who have the CFO there, maybe a division controller, maybe the COO, you know? Maybe you'll have the CIO there. He may have, a trusted board executives. Maybe he'll have top level guys there. And everybody's not invited. The average Joe Schmo, he's not at these meetings. He's not at these corporate calls. So they're sitting down and they're talking about how to get this thing done. Hey, some of these guys, they argue, man. Hey, look, we should do this. And they foaming at the mouth. The other guy got his finger in his face. No, let's do this. And they sit in that room for days, man. And they figure this thing out. That's what it means. Prepare your work without. Don't rush the preparation phase. When you have vision, you don't just rush to build. Take your time. Examine yourself. Really look deep. Don't just say, I need to read. Right? Let me start reading now. Well, hold on, brother. Slow your roll, brother. Right? Ask yourself, why aren't you reading? What's what they call it, the root cause? Don't just say, yeah, I need to read. Well, why aren't you reading, brother? And you got to dig deep to lay this foundation. Well, I'm not reading because I spend too much time watching TV. Right? Well, brother, why are you watching too much TV? Well, I only watch TV to keep my mind away. So you got to kind of dig deep in this thing, man. That's what it means. Really prepare your work without. Don't just rush. It takes time for preparation. Right? And really in the spirit, the Lord is going to give you that. Because it tells you in Proverbs, right, chapter 16:1, it reads, the preparations of the heart and man and the answer of the tongue is from Yahuwah. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Right? So you have to sit there and have that vision and prepare your work without. All right? It reads, and make it fit for this, back in Proverbs 24:27, and make it fit for thyself in the field. So then you start putting your plan into action. Right? That's when they start doing interviews. And let's start doing interviews and send out, on a company website that we're hiring. Right? So they'll start bringing these guys in and see if these guys are qualified, if they're competent, if they have the skill set, if they fit the requirements. Right? They'll start purchasing the land. They'll start making it fit for thyself in the field. Right? They'll hire a trucking company to bring in the parts that they need and the material, and they start laying it out. It reads, and afterward build thine house. That's what Nehemiah did. Nehemiah prepared his work without. He made it fit for himself in the city, and he builded those walls. All right? Let's go to 1 Kings, the 5th chapter. All right? 1 Kings chapter 5. So you have to have vision. You have to have a plan in this truth, man. You have to see yourself, visualize yourself to be better than what you are today, man. And come up with a plan to actually get that done. Right? 1 Kings chapter 5 and verse, I'm going to start at Chronicles, right? I actually want to go to Chronicles. This is 1 Chronicles, before the city. Let's see, 1 Chronicles chapter 24, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if this is what I want. I believe that's 28. Right, Salakia. 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 1. Right, this 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and 1. Right, now 1 Kings is Solomon doing the building, but this is 1 Chronicles 28 and 1. It reads, and David assembled all the princes of Israel the princes of the tribes, and the captains of the companies that ministered to the king by course, and the captains over the thousands, and captains over the hundreds, and the stewards over all the substance and possession of the king, and of his sons, with the officers, and with the mighty men, and with all the valiant men unto Jerusalem. So David gathered the top-notch guys, top men, right? Top men in the kingdom. Then David the king stood up upon his feet and said, hear me, my brethren, and my people. As for me, I had in my heart to build an house of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and for the footstool of our God, and had made it ready for the building. That's a clear example of Proverbs 24 and 27. David sat down and said, man, I got to make a house for the Lord. I need to get this done. The Lord actually put it in his heart to do so. Right? David had vision. See, when you have vision, you do things that people may not expect. Like I said, that's how businesses start, man. You have a guy that said, hey, look, I want to start a book selling business. When you look at I'm thinking of, these top companies of the world. That's how it starts. These guys, they may not see when Amazon started, right? That we know that guy, he's a demon, right? Jeff Bezos, we know that, right? But hey, when these guys start these companies, I believe that company started, he was selling books out of his garage, man. You know? A lot of these companies start in people's garage. Microsoft, Apple, it starts with a thought. It always starts with a thought, with an idea. Then it becomes a vision. And then it becomes, how can I make this real, man? Let me get the right people around me. And you need the right people around you in this truth, man. You need brothers around you. You need sisters around you. You need the righteous around you, right? You got to see if the wicked are around you. And these guys, they became multi-dollar billionaires. But that's in the world, right? But you can have success in this truth. Tell you that in Joshua chapter 1 and 8, how to get success. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, right? And keep this law in your mouth, paraphrasing, shall have good success. Let me get that in Joshua 1 and 8. All right, let me not paraphrase that. Let's actually read it. This is Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So don't think success is only in the world, right? Stop thinking success is only dealing with being an entrepreneur and starting a business and bringing in income and revenue. You can be successful in this truth. And I'm not talking money, because this scripture ain't talking money. This talking spiritual success. Some men are spiritually successful. Abraham, Moses, David, Hezekiah, Peter, John, right? These men are spiritually successful, man. And you can be successful in it. When I say success, I mean, hey, look, these men are signed, sealed, and will be delivered by Yahuwah Bashim Yahushua in the day of judgment. Because these men had vision. They had expectations. They had a hope. They looked at a kingdom to come, and they didn't focus on the things that are here now, man. Right? So when you go back to 1 Chronicles, David is telling you about the thoughts that he had. Right? It says that the Most High, he had it in his heart to build an house of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and for the footstool of our God, and had made it ready for the building. So what he did was he had a blueprint. When you jump down to verse 11, David actually made a blueprint, like an architect, about how the temple would look, and the layout and the design. That's how much thought he put into it. 1 Chronicles 28 and 11. Then David gave to Solomon his son The pattern, meaning the blueprint, of the porch and of the houses thereof, and of the treasuries thereof, and of the upper chambers thereof, and of the inner parlors thereof, and of the place of the mercy seat, and the pattern of all that he had by the Spirit, of the courts of the house of the Lord, and of all the chambers round about, of the treasuries of the house of God, and of the treasuries of the dedicated things. Right? So you want to have that spirit that Nehemiah had, that spirit that David had, and you don't want to be content with mediocrity. You don't want to be content with being average. You don't want to be content with who you are today. Because who you are today is not where you want to be. You should want to be a better brother, a better sister, a better mother, a better wife, right? A better daughter, a better father, a better son, a better servant, a better prophet, a better teacher, a better man, a better woman, a better Israelite, man. So wherever you are today, you should not be satisfied with that individual. You should not be satisfied. You should not be content with who you are today. And if you are content, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Right? It's only, I mean, if you feel like you made it already and you reached your limit and you can't grow, you can't increase, there's only one place to go. And that's down. There's only one place to go for men who feel like they reached their ceiling. And that's down. Because you can only remain stagnant for so long. Then after that, you're going down. And you're gonna wax worse and worse. So you have to have that mentality that you can always increase. And have that vision that you can always be better and you can always do more. Right? That's what we're reading about our forefathers. We read that about Nehemiah. We read that about David. All right, let's go to the book of Hebrews. All right, let's go to the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter. All right, like the brother said, Einashar, more heights to reach in this thing, bro. Right? There's no ceilings in this truth. More goals to achieve. Right? And you have to have that vision. You have to realize that. And be real with yourself. Hey, look, I can do more. I can be closer to Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua. I can fast more. I can pray more. Hey, I can read more. I can see myself, fast and really, I'm just thinking, I can see myself fasting X amount of times a week. I can do that. How do I get that done? Okay, well, let me come up with a schedule. Okay, well, Tuesdays, I do this. Okay, well, Thursdays, I do this. I can be closer to Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua. Yeah, I can see myself reading more. I want to be that brother that's reading more consistently. Hey, look, I can really get my spirit right better, man. I can examine myself. You have to, like I said, have that vision. Look at yourself now and examine the walls and see where you can be. All right. Now I was getting Hebrews, right, Salaki. Right, let's go to the book of Hebrews. I want to go to the 11th chapter, and I want to go to the 13th chapter. Okay, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11. I mean, this whole chapter is good. And let's start at, boy. All right, Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 32. Okay, I'll start at 32. Hebrews chapter 11 and 32. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel and the prophets. So they're listing all of these righteous men who have faith, right? And these men's works that they did speaks about the amount of faith that they had. So they're listing the different men, right? Who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. I'm going to read that again. That they might obtain a better resurrection. Meaning what? That our forefathers were willing to die, did these righteous works, had all of this faith in the Most High, because in their mind, what did they see? They saw a better resurrection. They saw a king. They lived their life for what was to come. They had hope and vision. They weren't looking at the here and now. Abraham wasn't looking at the here and now. David wasn't looking at the here and now. The elect, they're not going to look at the here and now. They're going to put it all on the line that they may obtain a better resurrection, that they may obtain a deliverance. That's what they're thinking about. The steps in the course of their life is all about them getting delivered. That's what they're thinking about. They're not thinking about money, how to make it in the world. Really, they're looking for this place to go down. And they only kind of live in this world. But they're not of this world. They were sent here, but they're not from here. And they think like that. And they know that they're strangers and pilgrims in a strange land. That they're sojourners in an old, foreign, strange country. That they're Jews in exile, not American citizens, and freedom. They're Israelites, punished for their sins, hoping to be delivered. Not an African American, Hispanic, and Native American man here to just live life, man. We're not those guys. Those are people of the world. We're not Negroes, and we say it all the time. And the Lord said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee, in Proverbs 23:7. You know? You gotta train your mind to remember that. Hey, look, I'm a Jew. What the hell am I? I'm in exile. I'm in captivity. This is not it. Hold on. This car, this is not where I want to be. Right? This money and this ain't real money. Hold on. Right? This is a world of sin. The world is trying to suck me in. You got to take a step back. Hold on. I'm a Jew. I'm from the seed of Judah. What the hell am I doing here in this strange country, man? How do I get back? Right? Let me see what my forefathers did. How did we fall? You have to keep that in your mind. You have to meditate and keep that on your forefront. Because if not, you're going to end up being a black man or Hispanic man in America. Straight up and down. And you're going to wax worse and worse. You are in exile. We are in exile. Right? Let me read that again. Hebrews chapter 11:35. Women received their dead raised to life again. Again, who's one of those women? Read 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter. Now that woman's mother wasn't named. I mean, those 7 men who were tortured, right? Because they were willing to serve Yahuwah Ba'ashem Yahushai rather than suffer in sin. That woman, she watched her sons get tortured. And her last son, read that chapter. I'm not going to read the whole chapter. I'm not going to tell you the whole account. The wicked king, Antiochus, wanted her to sell her son out. Wanted her to tell her son to sell himself out for temporary fame and riches. And she told him what? She said, hey, look, you better die like your brothers. Why would she tell him that? Because she hoped and had vision that she would see them again in a better resurrection. And those men knew that, man. Those men had their arms chopped off and said, I'm going to get this back. Right? He said, these I lost for the name of the Most High, but I'm going to get them back. You can't deal with it. You can't control a man like that. You can't tame a man like that. That man knew. He said, hey, look, yeah, I don't have no arms. You just chopped them off. Hey, I'm going to get them back. I'm going to see you again. You've been the author of mischief against the Hebrews. Hey, I'm going to get up with you. Man. I ain't going to get up with you in this life, right? But I'm going to get up with you in the next life, man. When I'm resurrected, I got something for you. And Yahuwah Ba'ashem Yahushai got something for you, man. So those men, they kind of knew that dynamic. They knew that this life wasn't it. They knew that this stuff was temporary. We always focused on a world to come, on a better resurrection, on the kingdom. on eternal things. And that's what made them the elect. Right? Let's read on. Hebrews chapter 11 and 36. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. And this world isn't worthy to receive you, man. This world is wicked. Right? This world is full of sin and guile and lasciviousness, lust, pride, and folly. And you have to have that self-respect and honor of yourself, man. And know that you're higher than what this stuff is, man. Whatever they got for you, you're higher than this. You're better than what you are here, man. Than what they want you to be here and what you are now. Rather you're a boss, a manager, you wash the windows. You're better than that, man. Remember that. Look, I'm a king. Right? The world isn't worthy to have me. This place ain't worthy to have me, man. I'm right outside the plantation right now, man. Is that me being proud? No. I know I'm an Israelite, man. I'm a son of God. The hell am I doing here? I'm looking to the kingdom, man. The hell with this place. The Lord even said it. Of whom the world was not worthy. You know 99.9, 100% more than anybody on the earth. And we don't know any damn thing. Us not knowing anything, and I'm speaking, I don't want to use the word sarcastically, but I'm speaking humbly. You know more than everybody. Everybody. College professors, scientists, engineers, mathematicians, world-renowned scholars, archaeologists, top theologians. You know more than everybody on the earth. The world ain't worthy. They can't handle you, man. Stop trying to fit in here, man. You're not from here. You're just an Israelite in exile. A stranger. Even Moses said, he named his son Gershom. He said, for I have been a stranger in a strange land. And Moses, he was a top guy in Midian too, man. He was the son-in-law to the priest. It even said, I'm still a stranger in a strange land. Moses was a very meek man. Nevertheless, let's read on. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 13. Right? Oh, hold on. Let me read Hebrews 11 and 38. Let me finish that. It reads, of whom the world was not worthy. So you have men thinking of the world, giving their life unto the world, but you're not even worthy of. The world isn't worthy for you. Right? They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves in the earth. Hebrews 11 and 39. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. The Most High, having provided some better things for us. So the Lord provided better things for you. Right? Think about that. That they without us should not be made perfect. All right, so let's go to the book of Hebrews, the 13th chapter. The Lord has provided better things for you. Right? Remember, what do we get provided? Who provides the things for us now? Your enemies. Right? That's Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 48. Right? Deuteronomy 28 and 48 tells you your enemy provides things for you. But Yahuwah Ba'Shem Yahushua says he's going to provide better things for you. Better vehicles. I'm talking aerial angelic vehicles. Right? Better housing. I'm not talking lead paint. Damn, you done have 50 people live in a house before you. All types of spirits and demons and just madness, man. This land, like I said, you have better things for you. All right? Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 14. Okay, Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 14. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. That goes straight back into having vision, vision, vision. Here we have no continuing city, meaning we're not looking for this place to continue. I don't care if they have another stimulus package. I don't care if they say that the job market is looking good. I don't care if they say the unemployment rate is decreasing. And we're not looking for this place to continue. To hell with America, man. We're seeking, meaning you have vision, one to come. You should be meditating and looking forward to what? The 12 gates that you read about in Ezekiel, the 48th chapter, Revelation, the 21st chapter. Right? The priesthood of Zadok. How those sacrifices are going to work. You have to have that kind of imagination, man. You know, a child has imagination. The Lord said that we have to become children again. You have to kind of have that type of mind when you can actually meditate on what things will be to keep you focused, man. Keep you going. You know, some people at the workplace, they work all these hours. They're working 60 hours a week, 65 hours a week. They grinding. I know certain people, they be in these plantations. They'll have a family kind of there for them, right? And they'll have like a picture, like an island, right? It may be like a palm tree, maybe like a sunset, and it may be like a nice backdrop of the sun going down. And that's something that they set in front of them on their desk as something that they see themselves being. Right? That's why they work to go to that vacation, to go to that island. They're saving up money. Maybe they want to take their family there. So they'll put a picture there. And as they're working, they kind of look at that picture and it keeps them focused on why they're there. I gotta hit that resort, man. Gotta work these extra overtime hours. So they have vision. People of the world have vision. That's why they have a family at their desk. That they son, they daughter, they wife. Because that looks at them and it kind of keeps them focused and grounded on why they're at that. Because you'll quit. Anybody will quit any day. They'll quit. It's easy. But when you have something to focus on and to work towards, you have some type of vision and goal, then it keeps you at that job. It keeps you rooted. Right? So you want to have that type of vision in this truth, man. The Lord said, where there is no vision, the people perish. You have to have expectations, goals, things that you want to achieve. Right? Be optimistic. Where do you see yourself, man? How can you become closer to Yahuwah? We read Nehemiah. We read about David. We're reading Hebrews. We read Colossians, what the Apostle Paul said. All right? Let's go to the book of, let's go back to 2 Corinthians. Right? Probably get a few more, we'll wind down. It's lucky. Let's go back to 2 Corinthians. Right? And I want to actually read verse 16 again. Right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and 16. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. So every day you should be getting closer to Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua. All right. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. You see that? So the Lord said, while we look not at the things which are seen, meaning the tangible things. This stuff is tangible. This is from this realm, the terrestrial realm, the first world. Remember, there are 3 worlds. We always go into it. There are 3 worlds documented in the Bible, meaning 3 ages. You got the elder world. So like in the elder world, it's a time of Adam. You read about that in 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. Then you have the present evil world. And then you have the world to come. You can't focus in the present evil world because it will remain evil unto destruction. You have to look for the world to come. Plan for the world to come. Think for the world to come. Live for the world to come. This is how you conduct yourself as an Israelite, man. As a stranger and a pilgrim, you're looking forward to what? To the world to come. That's what it means when it reads, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. What's something that you can't see that you should be looking at? Eternal life. Right? A crown on your head. Imagine how that crown's going to look on you. Imagine how that crown's going to feel on you. Imagine what it would be like Yahuwah putting that crown on your head. Imagine standing on Mount Zion. Imagine tasting the ancient pomegranate, man, and what real food will finally taste like. What real grapes would taste like. What is that water in Jerusalem and the Jordan River, right? What does that water taste like, man? That cold, refreshing, right? That climate, right? What is that climate going to be like? That your feet in the sand, sitting at the table with your forefathers and foremothers, man. You have to envision these things. Don't just picture yourself sitting in some office somewhere, man. I can see myself 10 years from now with my name on the wall at the next CEO of Naquan Corporation. I can see it now, right? And then you go into some trance, man, of you kind of telling Jake what to do. That's not the spirit you want to have, man. Where do you see yourself, man? In the world to come. Are you sitting on the throne? Right? Are you ruling over 10 cities? Right? What do you think about what you're going to tell your slaves, man? Look at something to focus on and many things to focus on and dwell on that. Think about peace. Think about your God being magnified. Think about Yahuwah ruling the earth for all that he has done. Think about him ruling the earth, man. These are the things that you have to dwell on. That's why Yahuwah said, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which, let me read that again. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Focus on the things that are eternal. Have that great expectation. Right? Can a brother pull that definition of Baba Kasha? Expectation. Right? Let's get that definition if a brother got time. Right? Let's get the definition. Expectation. Right? And vision. Let's do vision and expectation. Baba Kasha. Right? If someone can't put that definition up for the edifying of the body. All right? Let's see, Romans 8. All right, so let's start at Romans chapter 8 and verse 19. I really want to kind of get that definition, right, of expectation and vision. All right, see, divine in nature said, I think about plants singing and talking to animals, things like that. Right, you got to kind of, like I said, you got to have something, man, to dwell on. Right? So hopefully a brother or sister could put that definition on the comment board of expectation and vision. Okay, all right, we got, okay, so throw for that Slim D for vision. The faculty or state of being able to see, she had defective vision. Right? So you want to have that spiritual vision, that spiritual sight, right? Your spiritual eyes to see the spiritual things. The carnal eyes is only going to see carnal things. The spiritual eyes are going to see spiritual things. All right. What else we got? Okay, from GDK, a strong belief, by Thawada for that something will happen, or GDQK, Salakia, a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future, right? Thawada for that. All right, Dion Milton. Okay, in Legacy 7, the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. You see that? expectation, a strong belief that something will happen. From divinely fashioned, expectations belief that someone will or should achieve something. So you have to have that spirit of expectation, that vision, right? Really, that hope. You know, that's all we have at the end of the day anyway. All right, this is Romans chapter 8 and verse 18. Romans chapter 8 and 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So the suffering that you're going through now, it could be mental. You could be fed up. You could be sick. You could be tired. Your back could hurt. Your stomach could hurt. You could be stressed out. You could be, like I said, depressed, dealing with anxiety, worries, feel lonely, all types of things, man. You can have physical suffering. You could be suffering at your so-called job. You could be stressed the hell out. You could be dealing with physical ailments that seem to never go away. Financially, you could be suffering, and whenever you got a paycheck or you get paid, your money's going like that. Something's always happening. We suffer. These are the curses upon Jacob for our sins. But what did the Lord say? When you weigh it in the balance, it says, for I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So Paul thought about that glory. Paul wasn't in the kingdom. Why would the apostle Paul make a statement? He wasn't there. How does he know the glory that's going to be there? He didn't feel that. He didn't go through the chariot and go into the kingdom. He's not a time traveler. There's no account of Yahuwah Bashim Yahushai creating a time machine, putting Paul in a time machine, and putting Paul in the future, and Paul kind of seeing the glory that was to come. He's looking at the Edomites in slavery, and he's feeling the air of Jerusalem, and he didn't go there in the future. But how would he know that? Because he had hope. He could envision it. He knew it through faith. He knew about the glory that was to come. And all he had was the scriptures, man. You know? He had that belief. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. So you should have an earnest expectation to be made like unto the sons of God, and for us to be made the sons of God, and for the sons of God to have deliverance. You have to have vision, vision, vision. You have to have hope and an expectation beyond what this world wants you to expect. Because here you expect retirement. I mean, you expect it to work, to 65. I think they're trying to push the age up now to maybe like 67, 68. I mean, you're expecting to go to work tomorrow. That's your expectation. To set your alarm, get up. But guess what? You have to have a spiritual expectation of this thing, man. And push forward and have vision, vision, vision. But with that, I'm going to close up. Giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahuwah. By Shema Mashiach, Kwamalak Yabushai. Most High willing you were edified. Kwam Yasha.